So we stand in front of Dollar Tree and basically
such as this thing here.
All right, I'm excited to have a guest.
Metal right here, of course, everyone is.
Cuba is like they're under a dictator.
RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Thursday edition of the People's Talk Show. And hope everyone's doing well. Let's connect. Definitely looking forward to find out what's on your radar. Let me know what you guys have been keeping an eye on. Lots of things unfolding as always. And I want to pretty much touch on what I think is a good indicator as to the macro picture in reference to the economic slowdown that's underway. And what better guidance or possible guidance could we receive other than one of the biggest logistic companies that services every country on the planet, and it's FedEx. They actually withdrew a statement in reference to their forward guidance for next year because it spooked the markets, made their stocks sell off and everything between. So we're going to touch on that as well as a couple other subjects. And as always, any first-time viewers, let me know where you're watching from. We'd definitely love to welcome you to the community. Let me know in the chat. And then when the phone lines open up, 313-462-0027 is the number to call and let your voice be heard. Definitely love to hear from you guys directly. As always, want to make sure you are able to plug in. So let me know thoughts, ideas, articles, subjects, anything that come across your radar today. Definitely let me know. We can touch on it. So let me acknowledge a couple people, jump into some headlines, and then we will get right into it. We got this Ed checking in. Got a notice. Yeah, so I pre-populated this video so that people would get notified. So hopefully that is the case. But how you doing, Ed? We got Toya checking in as well. Appreciate you. We got Mr. Solo in the building. Rolf is checking in as well. When crash, how many weeks now? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I'm not in a rush, Rolf. you know how I get down. I'm patient. I'm cool. I'm in no rush. We got the crash is never coming. I lost, which I hope you're right, LBP. Believe me, I wouldn't be mad. We got Mark the Silver Shark says, FedEx, we have been in recession for 6 months. Yeah, I just think that in reference to their little earnings call, as well as their reporting that they have to do for their investors, the information that they share was not too amusing for their investors. So that's why I think this is a subject matter for this evening. What else we got here? We got Pablo Pina checking in, Barlight Broker checking in. We got DVN from Texas. Appreciate you, man. What else we got? Rich Mountains says, is this live or a bot? It's live so far. All right. Fair amount of people here, man. Appreciate you. As I mentioned, always buku stuff to talk about. So definitely throw out some thoughts, ideas, suggestions of what came across your radar. We'll jump into that. And let me just jump right into headlines. So the goal is I got about maybe 3 or 4 different subjects worth touching on. Then I open up the phone lines, and we'll love to get your guys' take on a variety of things. But before I do that, let's just make sure I remind people, if you have not, hit that subscribe button with the bell notification. Hopefully, you are able to be notified. So as I can tell from just the slow rollout of people joining us lets me know that maybe 0.001% of everybody that subscribe may get notified. So, but it is what it is. Of course, if you can't catch it live, catch the replay, but prefer live is better. But anyway, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Hopefully that helps. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, definitely connect on all the socials here or anyone that of your liking, just to make sure you stay plugged in with the community. So no excuse not to make sure you're always able to connect. What else we got here? Rolf says, I ran to join Asian security body. Yep, I saw that SEO. I saw that announcement today. Not surprising whatsoever. Every nation that has been under the sanctions of the U.S. as well as the West will definitely be a part of the SCO, the BRICS, the Eurasian, you name it. So that's their way of running away from the West, that unipolar world that Putin loves to talk about. Okay, let's jump right in. Let me see. I had a couple different articles here. Let me see if they populated yet. No, they did. So I was jumping the headline one. So this caught my attention just because it's always good to get a sense of the global picture based upon companies that do business internationally. And when FedEx, their CEO, came out basically warning and saying that he expects a worldwide recession based upon the decline in volume of packages, to where it's forcing them to make some very uncomfortable decisions which comes with cutoffs, closures, airplanes no longer in the sky, things of that nature. And that's all more so like just forward guidance as to what he expects. And they're basically pricing that in right now. And as a result of that, he came out and just their reports came out a little bit too doom and gloom for their investors. And they had a major sell-off with their share price. And so as a result of that, they had to pull that statement back in and probably doctor it up a little bit just because it was too truthful. And so that's why I wanted to jump on this one. And of course, there's other subjects we're going to jump on that, but let me just thumb through some things I highlighted here. It says FedEx cutting costs, they withdraws 2023 guidance after first quarter's shipments disappoint. And to give an idea real quick here, I'll zoom in so you guys can see it. And this is just one of many publicly traded companies that's making changes right now. But as I mentioned, they are international, their reach. So that's why I wanted to touch on this. But it says FedEx on Thursday withdrew its full year guidance and announced significant cost cutting measures following what it calls softness in global volume shipments. He's quoted. This is Mr. Raj Subramaniam from the Senate incorrectly. Global volume decline as macroeconomic trends significantly worsened later in the quarter. Says while the performance is disappointing, we are aggressively accelerating cost reduction efforts, layoffs, ultimately closures. And then in an interview with Jim Cramer on Monday, he also said he expects the economy to enter into a worldwide recession. So once again, this is based upon their business model and what they're projecting for the future or lack thereof. And it says here, as part of their costs, FedEx will close 90 office locations, close 5 corporate office facilities, defer hiring efforts, reducing flights, and cancel projects. The stock fell about 12% as a result of all this information. And then it says the performance of FedEx led to withdrawal of its full year forecast that was set in June, citing a volatile environment that precluded prediction. It says the company cited specific weakness in Asia as well as challenges to service in Europe for its underperformance in the first quarter. So here we got the CEO expecting that 2023 will end up being a worldwide recession based upon the lack of volume or lack of basically packages moving. And so, of course, when it comes to Europe, which is pretty much what has led to this guidance information here, it's just because I imagine they have a lot more concerns other than just sheer consumption outside of everything happening with the energy efforts there and lack thereof. So definitely something worth paying attention to because we already know what time it is. But when you're hearing it from international companies, that's a whole nother ballpark there. So, but anyway, let's keep it moving. And on another note, it looks as if the rail strike was either temporarily or permanently, who knows? But as of now, it says Biden rail strike averted is a big win for America. And if you had a chance to watch this little clip here, he's basically applauding all the people in the room there who were able to come together as a team and, and just basically get this deal signed. And of course, it's not, nothing too serious, but it's won't lead to a strike. But it says it's a tentative railway labor agreement that was reached, averting a nationwide strike that could have been devastating to the economy before the pivot midterm election. So it's my suspicion that one of the primary reasons that it was of importance for the White House, other than, of course, the economic devastation that would have resulted of that, but they really can't afford to have any type of, outright issues with the economy that could be pointed back to his administration as well as to his parties, given that they're kind of the leaders of the House and the Senate at this current moment, because they would look bad come midterm time, and this will reflect badly on them. And that's my opinion as to why they will be so concerned with that right now, because when it comes to our energy and things of that nature, before now, they weren't too gun-ho on keeping our country, basically energy independent with the closures of all the leases and all the oil rigs, the pipelines and things of that nature. So they weren't so concerned with energy on that side of things, but now all of a sudden they're caring about the railways, which he admits is the backbone and the heart of our economy here. So yeah, that's why it's probably a temporary thing rather than a long term, but that's just my 2 cents. Who am I? But definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. And as a result of that, I was going to talk about yesterday how about Amtrak, prior to this announcement today, was set to close all of their West Coast railway trips to whatnot or business. They were just going to keep the northeast part from Boston, DC, and that northeastern region, Baltimore. I mean that New England area. And so as of now, because of this tentative agreement here, they were able to keep business open. So it says Amtrak works to restore routes after rail labor accord. So it looks like prior to this, during this earlier part of the week, they were already canceling and postponing trips or whatnot. So they're trying now to backtrack and make everybody whole for the trips that they were scheduled to miss. So it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a week or so to iron that stuff out. But as of now, people will be able to travel cross country, it looks like, as of now. So that's good news. I'll take a win any way we can, even if it might be temporary. And on another note, one of the community members shared this with me, and I wanted to share my 2 cents on it just because I actually thumbed through that executive order a little bit, 14067, just to see if I could determine some dates. Because once again, whenever I see specific times and dates, I was just like, never take it as final just because it's more of a headline to get your attention rather than most of the things actually coming to pass. But here, this is from WND. And so it says, Biden planning to protect us from cash beginning December 13th. And this has everything to do with Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Rickards. I think they may have done an interview not long ago, but Jim Rickards, everybody knows him. He's a CIA operative, loves bragging about that. And he's basically out with his latest report where he's trying to get you to sign up to become a part of his list so that you can see his portfolio on how he's going to navigate this, what he calls C-Day. And so this is a little clip, or not a clip, but just a little article referring to that video, which I'm going to bring on the screen in a minute. But to give you an idea what's going on here, it says some of America's smartest men, including Robert Kiyosaki, investment guru and author of personal finance book, has some choice words about the executive order 14067, which is Biden's central bank digital currency one. And so he's basically just saying that based upon him and his Rickards' observation of what's going on, they're determining December 13th as being a time frame where that day there will be some type of announcement. The government it'll be a bank, basically some type of bank holiday, to where C-Day. Let me just click on this. Where is it at here? So this is referring back to this video here. And so this is a little, about a 10, 15-minute video by Jim Rickards, this little audio. Basically, as you see here, C-Day. That's where he basically saying the day where cash will be removed and the rollout of the central bank digital currency will be officially launched. And so all this information here comes from Jim Rickards and his inside information of him being able to, get, his pulse on everything and whatever. So it's one of the things where I, take it with a grain of salt. I know there will be a banking event of some kind. Who knows? But then again, to have a single day where cash is no longer accepted, I find that hard to believe, just because that's a hell of a feat to pull off, which I don't think this current government could get that done in such a short time. And they're talking about by December 13th. That's why it really makes me suspicious. But then again, there was somebody in the community on the Telegram page put in a screenshot of a tweet or something like that that was posted on social media. And apparently the individual works for one of the cash delivery pickup trucks. And from what they said in a brief statement there, they were saying that somewhere in the Midwest, they were going to pick up one of their typical drops from a bank, but yet the teller at the bank or whoever mentioned to them that there was no cash, for this drop or this pickup. And then the guy was like, wonder why, because it's not common. Usually you have lots of cash. He said that the Federal Reserve called us and told us that there will be no more cash transactions. So starting as of today, we won't have any. And then the little paragraph ended with that person saying that it's been confirmed with several other banks as well amongst his colleagues in the same sector, basically saying that they're withholding cash and things of that nature, prohibiting it from being able to circulate, which is probably from right now up until whatever this event that could possibly be or not. So just to let you know that there might be some activity out there. We all know from the whole no cash accepted, more retailers no longer accepting cash, coin shorted, all that stuff they were throwing our way. It's all leading up to something. Now, this December 13th, I wouldn't want to ride out with that one. But if you guys are interested, you can listen to this. It's entertaining to say the least. At some point it will come true. But once again, I'm very skeptical of this just because, to give me, as I always say, to give me a specific date, I never really want to ride with those things. All right. And then on another note here, here's some news that's different. And so we realized just today, gold dipped to pretty much a 2-year low, almost back to March or April rather of 2020. But yet silver has not really followed suit, and that's not common. Usually they both go down together. And so neither one of them has really taken off, but then gold has tanked a lot faster. And it's causing a lot of people in the silver space due to this, still this continual silver squeeze is still underway. And the removal of metals from the Crimex at a very alarming rate is leaving a lot of people to question, hey, what's going on with silver? And once again, silver is the people's money. So I'm not mad at all, but here's just a little headline here. It says silver is outperforming gold this month, and that's just the start. And so it's one of those things where the author of this is trying to just basically give people heads up to let people know that there's something different right now about the activity in the silver market. And a lot of it is predicated on the possibility of a scarceness of actual physical deliverable silver, besides those whole paper future contracts and things of that nature. And of course, there's more people getting in now, more big players getting in now. So we'll see what that's about. Time will tell. And then what else we got here? Let me see if I got anything else here. Yeah, so just more news here about economic conditions from the retail space. It says Bed & Bath Beyond cuts 56 stores in latest turnaround move. So they're trying to get a little leaner before things go belly up. But once again, it's probably too late. And that's all I'll share with that one. Anyway, so those are some things that caught my attention on the headlines. I think the FedEx situation is very telling on what's happening globally because they're not the only ones. And as a result of that, it just shows how more the economy is contracting. And there will be disastrous consequences as a result of that. So, but yet you already knew that. So hopefully, as I always say, there's a window of time still available. We don't know how long that window is. Like some people in the chat say, the crash is coming, or maybe not. Who knows? But you don't want to be left, not fully or all the way in the best position that you could, possibly could be in. So, but anyway, let's open the phone lines. Curious to hear what's on your radar. Feel free to throw out some thoughts, ideas, suggestions. Let me know what you're keeping your eyes on. And of course, I got a couple more topics here, but I'd love to hear from you guys instead. So feel free to give me a call or highlight at Rethinking a Dollar. It'll stand out, and we'll jump on it. S400 says a crash will be June 2023. It's, crash, slow burn. I mean, it could be. I know one thing about June, Fed Now is supposed to start. So that will be mighty timely that the whole Fed Now situation jumps off and there is some type of systemic event. Because whatever it be will not be just an isolated event. And I think because of what's happening in Europe, this winter could be very problematic for everybody. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, Freedom Region 9.
Steve, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, wanted to do a little follow-up on that 14067 there.
Yeah.
I sent you a video there non-programmable currency there.
Yeah.
If you can drop that into the guys. Yeah, if you can drop that into the guys. The first hour of the show is very good because they do a bunch of quick hits on different topics for that first hour, and they touch on a bunch of stuff that kind of had my jaw drop. But one of them one of them was the Prince Charles thing. They discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
That's in there. They go over his little speech, and they're asking the same thing. Who's he talking about?
Yeah.
So they discuss that. They also talk about Biden's monkeypox czar.
Mm-hmm.
How he basically has, and he does. They showed it. He literally has a pentagram. He's a Satan worshiper. He has a pentagram on his
on his
stomach
chest
and everything
with that whole little leather strap outfit.
Yeah. You're looking like the village people.
Yeah.
That's and they cover just a whole bunch of topics.
Yeah.
Including that 14067. So if you can throw that in there for the guys, go ahead and do so.
Yeah.
And then the other one was an article that I looked up regarding that 14067.
Yeah.
And that's there also. Now that's the one I was going to ask you to pull up on your screen if you can, and look at what they have in there, items 1 through 4.
Let me see here. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, this is items 1 through 4. Okay, they got on the screen here. Okay, it says the ultimate doom. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to stop you. Could I go and get off the line, and you can go through that,
But,
and I can just go offline on that.
Good deal.
But yeah. So man, if that's in the writing,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like the 12/13 is in the writing. It's not some date that Joe Blow is making up.
Yeah, and so I actually looked for dates in the writing in that executive order, and nothing popped out. So I didn't see it there when I went there. That was part of my skepticism of that time frame, because December is not mentioned in that executive order at all.
And one other thing too that's in that video. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
because they're like I said, they do a bunch of quick hits.
Yeah.
In that hour time, there's another thing that they were talking about. Some Germany politician
mm-hmm.
apparently made a slip of the tongue or something and
mm-hmm.
said, "You'll remember where you will be at on September 24th." and that's in the video also.
Okay, yeah. I saw that clip. German politicians. Okay, let me see. I'll look for that one.
No, you don't have to do it. Just throw that one video, because they have all of that.
Yeah.
It's about 8, 9, 10 different topics. They're just quick hitting them.
Yeah.
So they cover a bunch of stuff. But anyway, I'll get off the phone and you can check out that 14067 that was items 1 through 4.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, take care, man.
Okay, so good stuff there. So lots of things to touch on there. So that German politician you're referring to, I did see that clip, and as you were talking, I did type in just to confirm that, and it's closer to truth whenever you see a fact check. So when you want to find truth, look for something that the mainstream narrative mainstream agenda is trying to fact check. Then you're in the ballpark for truth. But anyway, so it was fact checked about this. As German politician did not issue a warning about September 24th. He misspoke. And so this is what they're talking about here. So the politician is Frederick Merz. And it was during this speech here that he mentioned that time frame there. So, but once you see the word fact checked, it was a slippage of tongue. It probably was truthful in reference to him just, not knowing what he was thinking when he's doing that. Anyway, and so back to let me find that. So back to the 3 points that Steve mentioned here, and this goes back to that C Day, which Jim Rickers labeled as C Day, which is basically the removal of cash, is what he was getting at on December 13th. So when you take December 13th, so once again, it's one of the things where how would he know December 13th is that time frame? And if you go to the actual documentation here, so this is the executive order. If I put in looking for a specific date, December 13th doesn't come up. So in the very top, just trying to look for anything December. I got decentralized. So I look for December. There's nothing there that tells us December. And the closest thing that will give us a time frame is when you type in 210. type in 210, it's two mentions about within 210 days. Basically, this is the part of the, they're supposed to report back to Biden. So we got a Secretary of Treasury here. So this is 210 days. So from March, when this was first issued, which would be 7 months, will put us around October-ish, give or take, if my dates are correct. Yeah. So it's two mentions of 210 days as a follow-up. And then there's a lot of mention of 180 days. So there's let me see here. There's 7 mentions of 180 days. So basically, the central banks, the Treasury, all these other bodies are supposed to report back within 180 days, which puts it at September, October-ish, if you go according to the release date. So that's why I was, skeptical on the December 13th time frame. But anyway, okay. So let me just get back to this particular article. Where's it at? All right. So real quick, let me see here. So here's the 3 points. So Steve Mitchell says, please understand the possible implication of this ultimate challenge to our free society. And so this is an excerpt from that video that I referred to that you can go check out somewhere. Just type in, I don't know. It's whatever. Type in C-Day. I'm sure it'll pop up. But anyway, this is an excerpt from that. But it says here, he also exposed a supposed singular event called C-Day, which according to them will take place on December 13, 2022, and will disrupt the traditional financial system in the USA. And so please understand the possible implication of the ultimate challenge to our free society. 1, any cash you now have saved outside the banking system is invalid and will no longer be of any value when this process is complete. So I'm assuming that it's not on December 13th. It's probably the initial announcement is made by whatever emergency or whatever happens, the banking event or whatever occurs, if that date is the date that we can use. Once the date is announced, then the end of that process would make it so that cash would not be of any value if it's in your possession. And it says any digital currency you have in the bank may be turned off by the government thugs for not obeying the correct party line. So basically, if you're the enemy, you won't have access to your funds. And it says those selling precious metals for money will receive Biden bucks rather than cash. Biden bucks is Jim Rickards' label for central bank digital currencies. And then it says here, no Biden bucks, no food, rent, mortgages, cars, clothes, etc. Everything will be denied. And so those are the 4 areas that are highlighted in that little video clip there. So take of it, make of it what you may. It's one of the things where until it happens, it's all speculation. Jim Rickards, he's well informed because he's, in my opinion, he's a part of that group. And you have to ask yourself a question, why, if it is truthful down to the date, then why would they allow him to let that information out unless he's that, that warning, or he's allowed to give that warning, to the world. So who knows? But of course, as always, only 0.001% of people actually pay attention to this type of stuff like we're talking about here anyway. So the average Joe wouldn't even care or know anyway. So, but it's just something worth paying attention to. Anyway, phone lines are open. Give me a call. Let's talk. Yashawai says December 13th, 2002, the Treaty of Lisbon. Okay, let me find out about that. I don't know about that one. Let me find out more about that. So will it be a new treaty or what? Or what? Give me the rundown on that, because that's 2007. All right, let's get some more calls here. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Don't know about that one. It's Ed. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Hey, this whole cash thing's got me confused, brother. I mean, a lot of people don't mess with cash now, but the dollars are wanted all over the world.
Right.
These, especially third world countries, they want them. I mean, do they really think that people are just going to? What percent of the people in America you think now don't use basically zero cash? 90%, 80%?
I would say definitely 80% of the population do not use cash anymore. Would be my suspicion, my guess. Let me find out. So here's an article here. Just typed in real quick, and here's something here. It says Cashless society imminent. Here's what we can expect for lives. It said I saw something about it says in 2021, only 19% of transactions in the U.S. were cash, and the cashless payment volumes are expected to further increase by 43%. So only 19% in 2021 use cash. So around 20%, 80% of the people do not.
So what are you going to do?
80, whatever. Yeah.
So what are you going to do when they say go digital? Your cash is no good. Turn all your cash in and put it in the bank, and you have to spend it that way. I mean, that's not the mark of the beast. Obviously, it's not on your hand or your forehead.
Right.
I mean, you think we're going to have to do that to be able to buy and to buy?
I would. It'd be hard to believe that they can pull that off to where people would buy into that. It'll be an outright chaotic pandemonium in the streets if people were stuck with paper that they couldn't get rid of. So it'd be hard to get it out of people's hands. So that's why I find it hard that they're going to come out with some date or some announcement that will force people or scare people into wanting to get rid of it right away, because after this certain date, you can't do nothing with it. But they did it in India, though. So once again, India, their biggest note, which is the 500 or whatever it was, rupee, they set a date, and everybody in the country went to turn those things in. So it happened in a much bigger country. So anyway, I don't know, man. It's crazy to think, but who knows?
What would you do if you had your positions pretty much where you wanted them, with gold and silver, but you still had a large amount of cash?
Right.
Would you try to go ahead and convert it to silver and gold, or would you wait for a fire sale on some of this stuff?
Depending on that whatever that announcement was and how serious I took it, and I would assume I would definitely get a feel for what the environment around me is in reference to if people are out in the streets really trying to go get rid of whatever cash they got, then I will probably have more of a sense of like, maybe I don't want to be the last one holding this paper. But then again, if it's ignored, like I believe it probably would be, then I would be such in a hurry, just because it will still transact. People will still take it, even if the government says, hey, it's no longer no good. Most people, I don't think, really understand what's at play. So they would probably still be willing to accept it because it still has value, still spends. So the question is, how would they keep it from being able to actually be spent into the economy? Because people will still spend and take it in, no problem. And that's the problem where I don't see them being able to do that smoothly.
Okay, I just don't want to get stuck holding cash, and I could have converted it to silver.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like,
and that's the thing where we won't really know until we are in that environment, man. It's literally we'll be playing it by ear in reference to whether or not people are willing to accept it across from you for the smallest thing. Like, can you get rid of a $5 bill still? Which I'm assuming you could, because who wouldn't? Even $5 wouldn't really do much, but if there's a shortage of cash because most people don't have any, they'll be willing to take $5, and it'll probably carry a premium just because they would want some form of paper for their own transactions beyond whatever they're doing with you. So, but that's just me guessing. I don't know. We'll find out though.
And where there's a will, there's a way. People aren't supposed to be able to get liquor and cigarettes with food stamps, but they've been doing that for years. Just give me double. And the store owners turn it in. So yeah, I hope we're a little further away than they're making it sound, but it makes you think. I think it would take a long time to actually make that evolve. But yet, when I think of the regular person, they can't come up with $30 in cash.
Right. So, hey, time will tell, man. But I'll definitely keep you posted before December 13th if I hear something.
All right, brother.
Be
Thanks
good,
a lot,
my friend.
man.
Yep.
Bye.
Hello, caller. Where we calling from?
Hey, what's up, Mike? This is Miles from NY.
Miles, what's going on, my friend? They still accepting cash out in New York?
Oh, man, it's crazy, man. Kathy Hutcher trying to lock us back down again. She announced the state of emergency over the polio. The polio, the whole thing, which everybody already has shots for.
Right.
It's crazy out here, but nobody's going for that, Mike. I just wanted to speak on the last thing you was talking about the cash. What I'm wondering is, yeah, they may be able to try and do that, but how is that going to play out when everyone across the world uses the dollar as their means of exchange, So we would still have all of that currency outside the United States that we are responsible for. So how would they just automatically just get it and say, okay, that would turn every country in the world against us instantly.
Right.
You know, we would be like pariah. I don't see that happening.
Right.
Not only that, once you tell people, look, all that money they got saved or stashed or a little week-to-week cash that they are holding on to isn't worth anything after a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would for that. They would have to literally they would have to create something to happen to make you want to get rid of it.
Right.
But even then, you wouldn't be able to do it because it's just the sheer amount of it out there, you know, and the debt that we got, they wouldn't be able to do it. Just want to know your thoughts on that. And also, I launched the channel, Mike. Look me up, man. PM Galleria.
What's
we do
happening?
Friday night auctions, man, on Facebook.
What's happening again? Say it again.
The PM Galleria, man. PM Galleria. I launched the YouTube channel.
Oh. So where else you located at?
Yeah, you go right there on YouTube. It's PMGALLERIA, and I'm going over and just reviewing the precious metals artwork, that we do over there. So look us up, Mike. Be out there, man.
Do me a favor.
One love, man.
Join the Telegram group and share your artwork, man.
I'm gonna do that.
That's what it's for. Share your artwork, and people, if they like it, they'll mess with you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here for you, man.
All right,
Stay up, everybody.
Appreciate you, man.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Like I always say, if you are a content creator, if whatever you do out there, share with the community. Join the Telegram. Discord is no longer there, but join the Telegram. Share your artwork. Share your videos. Okay, it says Vince, appreciate you, man. It says Vatican just announced that all the churches across the globe transfer funds to the Vatican's bank by account by 9:30. Yep, Vince, we talked about earlier in the week, and so that was another possible sign of what could be underway. So based upon the initial announcement of the Vatican talking about having all their funds come back, they want it in their possession because they could control it, obviously. And we got other little stories out here developing about cash, and then Jim Ricker's talking about December 13th, and so it's just like next 3-4 months into this year could be something really interesting could be unfolding. We never did get that cyber polygon situation, so that's a whole nother event that could be on the radar as well. And just let me share something with you, man. This is probably out there, but then again, at this current moment, anything's possible. And I am missing some calls. Forgive me. Let me get this off my chest real quick. I'm not a fan. I don't watch The Simpsons anymore, but it's just amazing to me how The Simpsons has been running for 30 years or whatever. And let me copy post. So I posted this little video in the Telegram, basically, because when you see times, dates, figures, it just makes me wonder. And so here's a Simpson cartoon. Here's a Simpson cartoon that plays out a scenario of which there is a end of the world doomsday type of situation, but it's an EMP that's released in their city or whatever. And so this whole episode here, it just talks about basically preparing for the doomsday scenario. So Homer's walking around with somebody, and the time frame used for this is September 24th. And this is probably created, how many ever years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But for some reason, it's with these Simpson cartoons, like, whether it be clips, pictures, or whatever, it's just like people really question how and what is all this playing out to the way it's playing out. Like with President Trump, they had an episode with Trump as a president, 20 years ago. And so, take of it what you may, but September 24th, EMP, I'm like, oh man, like that would be very bad, wouldn't it? So anyway, so I don't know why I mentioned that, but that's just something that you can't ignore. Paul Allen says September 24th, something big by happened business catching the German parliament say it. Yep. So I mentioned that as well. So that's another time frame. Where was that? I talked about the right here. So the German parliament, what's his name? Whatever his name is, Frederick Merz had a slippage of the tongue, but the fact checker said it's not real. So you take of it what you may. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? One second. I'm sorry. Hold on, 1 second. Let me get you on here. Forgive me. Got to put your speaker on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Mike from LA.
Mike from LA. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, Merry Christmas.
we're just download this app right now,
Mhm.
and you'll get your stimulus for Christmas. We're sending it out right now. 1,200 digital dollar credits. Just download the app, go to this website right here, and you go spend it on your family. Let's get this economy going for Christmas. That's how easy it's going to be, Mike.
You think
and,
so?
And all of these suckers are just, that's how easy it's going to be. They're just going to go up, they're going to go download it, sign their life away, not even read any of the terms and agreements, and that's it right there. Bob your uncle, you're done. All right, that's how easy it's going to be, Mike.
Hey, anything's possible, man. I'd imagine with the CBDC talk, it's going to be issued through the Treasury, Fed, or whoever. It's going to come from an app, obviously, so they got to make that initial announcement. It's going to be after an event, and how it's going to be broadcast, whether it's be text message through all cell phone carriers, emergency download this from the federal government, Treasury, whatever, or broadcast, national television. We're going to help the people. We're going to come, download, whatever the app, and you'll get. So I can see that playing out that way, whether it be for Christmas.
Look at 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They were just they were throwing it out. They had the printer presses going, and half of it was all digital anyway. More than half of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just gonna turn it on. They're gonna be like, oh, we've been working on this, and thinking about this, a decade and a half maybe ago now, but maybe there's a reason why those Obama phones were such a big implementation. Make sure everybody done. There's no reason for you not to have a phone.
Right.
You can get a phone right now. You're on welfare. You don't have a job. Go get a phone. You got an EBT card. Go get a phone. You got to download the app. Get your Christmas money.
It's a right. Like, having a cell phone is a right. Just like it's a right. Like everybody's entitled to a phone at the government's cost with internet to go with it.
Yeah.
They whatever the most recent, they put like some $1 billion, some crazy amount of billions in there because they need to get the underprivileged internet access. I'm thinking like, oh, really?
Well, if you pay for a cell phone service, that's tax you're paying. Go through your bill. I forget. It's one of the federal taxes on there.
Yeah.
And you look at it, and you're paying for somebody's phone bill right there.
Right.
Yeah. So get your weight up as always.
Hey,
man, like make sure you know how to do stuff too. Jack of all trades is going to be thriving in this world that's coming ahead of us, because either you're going to be a slave to the big producers, or you're going to be having to go back to Amish times. Like,
right, 100%, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. Good to hear from you, dude.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll try to call in more, man. I wish you were doing it in the afternoon, but it's hard for me to get you at this hour.
But hey, I appreciate you catching when you can, man. Thank you.
Take it easy, man.
Big up. Good stuff. And on another note here, I forgot to mention, I saw that Mike Lindell did get his phone confiscated by the FBI, and so he announced that he's suing the government and FBI and everybody else in between. So we'll see how that goes. But once again, he's like, he has his five businesses, all the payroll, all that stuff on his phone. I'm like, man, that's a lot of stuff you're carrying in your phone. That's an automatic note. That's a booby trap in and of itself. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
I'm like,
hello.
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure. How's it going?
I'm good. Is that baby low blood pressure? That baby pressure?
Yeah, that's baby blood pressure. He wanted to talk. He's like, I want to talk to Mike. I want to talk. They think like we hang out all the time because, I'm always listening to you.
Yeah, man. Tell him I said hi. What's going on with you, man?
Nah, Mike, I fell asleep during the show, Mike.
I'm not boring, man. Come on now. I'm not boring.
No, Mike. I was tired, Mike. I was trying to listen to it, and then I just fell asleep. I just woke up a little bit ago.
Well, it's good you're back in. Yeah. It's good you're back up and plugged in, man. It's always good to hear from you.
Yeah, all right, Mike. The kids just wanted to say hi. All right.
Hey, all right. Have a good night, man.
All right.
Good night, Mike. Oh, man. Gotta love the kids. All right, let's talk. Oh, Martha's Vineyard seems like a mainstream ploy to all something, to rally something. Yeah. So watch this. We're witnessing like both Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis literally disperse illegal immigrants into our country, and it's being portrayed as like getting back at the liberal left for having open borders. And so they're literally flying people all across the country. And I'm thinking like that just doesn't, I on the surface, it doesn't even make sense. Like I can't even like support stuff like that. Like you're flying people, you're using Florida funds to charter planes to fly people to DC. So the latest drop off, we got DC at what's her name? At Kamala's crib, apparently. So this is the nonsense, man. Look at this. It says two migrant buses arrive outside Vice President Kamala Harris's Naval Observatory residence in DC. So between 75 and 100 people are like standing on the lawn or in the streets. I'm thinking like, what is that? What good is that? What is that? What is the point? Like, where are they going to go? Like, so they're ultimately going to fall back on taxpayer funds because now you're pushing them further into the country, which is a problem because they're here now. They're not leaving. And it's a lot of bad actors sprinkled out amongst them people. And like I mentioned the other night, like the video where you have like Venezuelan gangs, rival gangs are being imported into our country. And they're going to start having some issues with locals. They're going to start terrorizing people here in the country. And so you got these governors actually ultimately condoning this. They're making it worse. They're giving them rides throughout the country. So this is just like, come on now. And nothing good's come from this. But then let me go share with you. I did see this one here. So looks like Martha Vineyards declared an emergency. So Martha's Vineyard, let me see if you find this real quick. Emergency. Let me find this real quick. I thought this was funny. Let me find this out. So Martha's Vineyard declared an emergency and asked for federal funds over 50. Martha's Vineyard takes in 50 migrants sent unexpectedly by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And as a result of this, they declared an emergency. They're requesting emergency funds. And I'm thinking like, you need government funds to take care of 50 people, to deal with 50 people. Like, so we got so these people are being used as pawns, man. They were sold a bag of goods to come here, and now they're just being dispersed, and it's going to come back to bite every law-abiding citizen in the butt. So if you don't, man, this is yeah. Make sure you get your ammo up because more than likely they're coming to a place near you. And it's not necessarily, I'm not saying that it's not like a inhumane thing. I'm just saying that there's more killers, in my opinion. This is all just me. There's more killers, people who got very bad intentions in those groups than there are your mom and your mom with 2-3 kids, single, looking for a fresh start for her family. There's killers in them damn bus rides. So believe me, they're gonna get desperate. If they don't get no government stimulus checks, they're gonna be very, very aggressive. Believe me, man, they're setting us up for an all-out civil war. Literally, it's gonna be the American people versus all these people they busting around the damn country. Anyway, I'm missing calls. Forgive me. Let's talk. Rich says 6 busloads are headed to Colorado. Right. It's like so, and it's disguised as. I'm not even sure. I haven't, other than headlines, I haven't listened to any of their rhetoric as to why that's plausible to bust these people willingly. Like they're doing it openly. The Democrats were doing it behind closed doors. I've seen video footages of, late night, like 1 o'clock, midnight charters being done, and helps with the airlines to move people throughout the country, like illegally. So the fact that DeSantis and Abbott is doing it in daylight is like, damn, like. You helping them out. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? Oh, 1 second. I forgot my Tim. How you doing, my friend? What's going on?
Oh, not much. I'm just trying not to be too depressed, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, why you depressed, man? What's going on? It's all good. It's all smiles over here.
Hey, great callers tonight too. And last night I was listening to Low Blood Pressure and Tony Baylock, but Low Pressure just called in with his kids. That was great.
Yeah.
And you've had a bunch of other great callers too, and you're on point.
Appreciate it, man. I try to be. Just sharing my thoughts. That's all, man. What are your thoughts about these migrants being bussed around the country? You see it in your neck of the woods yet?
That's just minutia. If we get down to the serious stuff, right, we can talk about that all day.
Uh-huh.
I was just telling my wife, I was talking to you 4 years ago about digital currency.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been predicting this for a long time. Things aren't looking too good, Mike.
Yeah, but you gotta somehow see through it and put a smile on your face, man. You can't let it get to you. However that is, you can't let it get to you because life goes on. These type of events have happened before, just not like in a digital world where it's everybody got a camera and you see it in real time. But it's nothing new under the sun though. So it's happened before, man.
No, you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. It's hard to. You're doing a great job. It's just hard to stay positive when you understand reality.
Right. Hey, I agree, man. I agree, man.
But you're doing a fantastic job, and you keep it up, Fred.
Will do, my friend. Appreciate the call. Thanks for the support as well.
And you've had great callers, great followers.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you too,
Be
baby.
safe.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Tony B says, stop reading headlines and dig into the articles and using our knowledge. 100%. But think about this, TB, even though, if you don't read the headlines and you read into the articles, think about these, just the spin, whatever it comes from, the source of the article, more than likely is slanted and slayed and biased towards the globalist agenda, more than likely, unless it's from alternative media sense. But then again, it's going to be, so it's like, it's all about your own interpretation of what you're reading. Trying to read through the BS because it's going to be extremely right, extremely left. You got to be up the middle somewhere. There's three sides to a coin: heads, tails, and a rim. What you do with it, what you make of both sides. Okay, a couple more calls here. Miss one. Give me a call. Let's get this talk. I see some requests to go all night. So watch this. Who's that? Let me see. Priceless. So I've attempted to go. I've used to do 2 hours, man, 2.5 hours, and my head be hurting. Like, it ain't easy. It ain't easy to try to like talk, man. Just yeah. I realize my limit is an hour. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Dennis from Yaxcabal, Mexico. How are you?
Dennis, I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, that migrant story boils my blood. To be using these poor folks as political pawn. Look, I'm saying shame on those Republican governors. And, I usually side with the Republicans, but this is shameful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're playing with people's lives. And for one thing, I looked at those poor folks. They don't look Mexican. I don't know where they're coming from. It doesn't matter where they're from, but this is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and and that's where I'm thinking, like, I haven't listened to any of their little speeches, when they talk about what they're going to do. But I'm thinking, like, even still, like when they're sent to wherever you're taking them, then what? Like, they're still going to fall upon a government dollar, and that helps out the liberal left and their agenda to disperse people all throughout the country. So they literally want to have all 50 states basically being the housing for God knows who. Because they're not just coming from Mexico. Like the video I shared the other day, like there's people in Venezuela and they're literally like, they're confessing that they're gang members and stuff like that coming into America. And they literally say they're going to take over America in 2 years. Like, so they're either being told that or that's what they're being taught to do. And they're going to be funded and provided the weapons and ammunition to get that done, in my opinion. Yeah, they're going to try to kill us from within. Anyway.
Well, they're taking... I mean, these people are illegal immigrants, and it's illegal.
Right.
And they're dispersing them, which is counterintuitive to, even having border control.
Right. 100%. Well, what's the point? But obviously they know what they're doing. So, but it's unfortunate that the Republican governors that have done a great job of convincing people that they're for America, but then again, they're dispersing, non-Americans or non-U.S. citizens rather throughout the country. It's like, who you really getting back at? Like, you're overrunning, Democratic areas, but then what? So anyway, but here's that little video I got on the screen here of a person basically in New York talking about how he says here, the borders are full of criminals like him in the United States and will be finished in 2 years. This is what the guy's basically saying as he's recording his video on his cell phone. So.
Well, even without him, the empire is going to fail in about 2.5 years. One thing on this digital currency, 97% of the currency now is digital.
Right.
What's the difference? They know the banking transactions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a little bit of tax money from some dude cutting some guy's lawn. Maybe he's not paying taxes. Yeah. How are they going to get the people to use it? Look, the utilities are 1 out of every 6 are behind. They're going to give it to them. That's how you get these people to use it.
Right.
Are you going to accept the Biden bucks or whatever, Jim Rickards, CIA guy,
So here's the thing, like it's going. So every person with a social security number will be getting a app, because in order to log into your app, you're going to have some credentials, whether it be your social security number or whatever else they use to verify that it's you. And on top of the digital ID stuff, because that's going to also be included in that as well, with your biometrics, so all that stuff is going to be included somehow, some way at some point. And then you factor that in, that encompasses the social credit system as well. So it's not just, it's just not going to stop at the central bank digital currencies or the rebranded versions of a programmable currency. It's going to include all those other things as well at some point, if not all at once. So it's just not currency. Currency is the least of our problems. It's a tyrannical takeover of a failing government and what they're going to try to do to us. So, yeah. It's a trap.
Well said, and it's sad. It's sad. I'm sitting down in Yaskaba, Mexico, and I'm listening to this and watching it, and the empire is like being destroyed from within, and these other politicians not to say anything about the migrants. Mm-hmm. It is troublesome. Where's the leadership in any party? The Democrats should be proud of this, and the Republicans should be feeling this too. This is just
right.
It's a bad deal. Yeah. And how are they going to use their central digital currency? They don't have a social security number. What are they going to starve them?
It don't matter. They're going to give it to them anyway. There's some exceptions, of course, and it's if you're brought in here for the purpose of helping destroy and destabilize things, you're covered. Don't worry about it. Just like they're trying to get people to be able to vote. They're giving a lot of these illegal immigrants a chance to vote. Like depending on, I think California, you can vote without a driver's license. Or wherever that craziness is at, they just carting people in so they can have more bodies to vote for them. So, but hey, we knew that was coming, man.
Yeah. Well, one other thing, I think last year, if you want to log into your IRS account, you have to show a passport or digital or an ID or something.
You had to set up something. I want us to. I think I heard they scrapped that, or most you didn't have. There's a little bit of pushback, I think, but I could be wrong. But I remember that being rolled out.
With the digital currency, I guess that they're going to give to you, they'll just take some back and they'll pay their taxes that way. Why are we even paying taxes? We know the national debt can't be paid back. It's ridiculous. Right. I'm so happy I'm out of that system.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling, man.
Good night, my friend.
Be good. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Mike, how you doing?
Doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
TB, one more again, man.
Yes, sir. What's new?
So, the digital currency is is for central banks, we are already digital.
100%.
As far as the dollar is concerned, but the CBDC is just for interbank payments. They cannot get rid of the dollar.
Right.
So we need to stop cross-referencing all those as the next payment system. I think that with the digital, it's just going to keep everybody honest. To be with you, because there's no way they can come in. Oh, we're gonna scrap this and we're gonna cut you off and make Trump whole. And there's no way they can do that and have the system succeed.
Yeah,
everybody has to win in the beginning, and they make it seem like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then 30 years down the line, you're 30 trillion in debt.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's where they are pressed to introduce a newer version of the dollar for some reason, you know what I'm saying, to where a part of their narrative is that it will help the unbanked, it'll bring financial inclusion, and even in that little executive order, they're talking about the interoperability of being able to keep pace with other nations. We can't be outdone by China and the Chinese yuan digital version. We need to, we can't lose the dollar supremacy by being not in the front runner of technology, all that crap they're trying to sell it with. So they have plans for it, but of course, we know why, because the old system is the debt-based solely one is crumbling. You know what I'm saying? So they need a new method to enslave people. And what better way to do it other than programmable, where you are not able to do certain things in accordance to what they want. Factoring in with the carbon emissions and stuff. Go ahead.
It's the unbanked that's killing them.
The unbanked is killing them? How so?
Wait a minute. I don't have any money, but you're going to give me a credit card. I max that credit card out, and I don't have any money in the bank. Who's winning, you or me?
But once again, that credit card...
Don't pay off the credit card. Don't have any money in the bank. Don't pay off the credit cards. Who's winning?
So, but even with that credit card, its transactions is solely on the credit card issuer side. So that's not even a part of the actual money supply per se, because there's nothing there other than just that debit credit ledger on the MasterCard side of thing or the bank side of things. So that doesn't even exist. There's nothing there other than just when you swipe it and you pay it back. When you pay it back with what you earned. And that's your validation that something was there, but they never gave you nothing in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So they're not losing no matter what. Because you're going to pay them back on something that wasn't real.
Well, if that's the case, there's nothing real.
That's which is true. But then again, all this debt and all these, I think more so the derivatives, all the mess they've created, they're more concerned with that, because all those derivatives are just basically bets on real economic activity, whether it be interest rate swaps and swap this, all that other crap I don't even know about. It all goes back to the derivatives, which is their casino game of things. You know what I'm saying? That stuff blows up, and that causes a problem for the world.
No, it doesn't blow up. It just gets a hiccup, and then we go back to the old way of doing things. It's always been that way. How do you think it got a quadrillion?
Yeah.
Who says it can't get a quadrillion?
Right.
I mean, we play in this game, and we continue to play it until we can't play it any longer. Right now, there's nobody to take over that game.
Right.
Nobody. CBDC, because you give me a CBDC, somebody holds onto that CBDC, and somebody has to transfer it into something. What's the end thing for that CBDC? The dollar.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to have collateral somewhere.
But that's the thing. Like right now, the collateral for the dollar we have now is government liabilities, the treasuries. You know what I'm saying? The bonds are the actual the instruments that gives those fiat notes any type of backing. You know what I'm saying? It's the government and the tax dollars we're gonna pay on that.
Mike, the real money out in the economy is how much?
Say it again.
$2 trillion.
Yeah, and cash.
The real money out in the economy is $2 trillion.
Yeah.
Everything else is credit.
Correct.
So I just more credit. As long as the money's not getting into the economy, then we can credit to death. We can credit 20 trillion. We can credit the whole world if you want.
Yeah. But
that's how we're able to get away with it, because we don't put the real money on it. Now you give it to me, I'll spend it for you. That's when the real money gets in the world. you let me spend it for you. That's when the real money. That's when the debt goes up.
Yeah.
But if they're doing this printing bank reserve and canceling bank reserve is not money.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's look at real money, and there ain't no real money. And who has the real money? The banks have the money, not the Federal Reserve. The banks have the money. If the banks ain't loaning, then ain't no money getting in the economy.
The banks got the currency, the fiat currency. The real money is in the vaults with whoever got the most weight. That's still the number one currency. Just we all know that what's preferred. Even Alan Greenspan told us that a long time ago. While fiat currency can't compare with gold, you know that.
Well, you can say gold in the end, but what is it going to be until then?
Yeah, good point.
Same stuff that we're running through and running to now.
Yeah,
the dollar.
Hey man,
it is, man. Until somebody gets there and wants to back put some money behind their currency.
Yeah,
it's the dollar, and nobody's doing that.
I'll run with it until Putin and Xi make an announcement that shocks the world at some point. Because they will, for sure. I'd imagine, and I'm sure you agree with me. Well, they got something planned for the world. Now, whether or not the West accepts it will be another thing. But they got plans and what they would rather be paid in, and it has nothing to do with the USD or the dollar symbol at all for the future.
I don't agree with that.
You don't think? So all these currency swaps and the fact that they just announced that they're no longer using dollars for energy in between their two countries. They're not, you know what I'm saying? You don't think that's some major news right there? That they're willing to turn down dollars?
But that's what they say. Mm-hmm. What are they doing? China said they stopped using dollar a long time ago, and they're still $1 trillion in debt with us.
They've been unloading and getting rid of some of those. Like they got under $1 trillion now. They're under $1 trillion now of like reserves.
They're unloading in the euro dollar market area, which is still the dollar.
Well, I don't know the extent of their activity in the euro side of the euro dollar market. So I just know as far as their actual reserves and treasuries, it dropped under $1 trillion. And I don't know if they'd be willing to let that go before these sanctions kick in. Because when these sanctions kick in, they're not getting that back anyway. So, but anyway, man.
No,
go ahead.
I don't think so. Then that means that China isn't shipping any goods to the United States. Now, who wants to cut off their throat to spite their nose?
Correct. Hey, unless you got something planned that'll make up for whatever losses that you'll be willing to take, i.e., what's in your vaults. They might be sitting on the largest gold stash above ground. I'm sure they'd be willing to take some losses in USD terms for whatever next unit of currency they're gonna force on the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but these people are using their gold in order to get dollars.
For now. But be patient. You know what I'm saying? Gold ain't going nowhere. It'll be here. It'll be here a lot longer than all that other stuff they're gonna try to bring back. And I'm not up here like I don't want the dollar going nowhere because I still want to spend them. But in the meantime, I know the future is not going to be dependent upon the West's unipolar world that they're going against over there in China and Russia. So, but hey, man,
I don't know, man.
All right, we'll see.
I'll let you go.
Appreciate you, man.
Let's talk about it.
All right. Be good, man.
All right. Later.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff, man. All right, man. We are hour and some change. We do be having fun. All right. So getting ready to dial back as always. It's been good. I got some calls. I'm not going to take them because it will be here forever. As I mentioned before, I try to keep it around an hour point. But anyway, as always, it's good to connect. Hopefully, some information was exchanged that made sense to get people to think beyond what we're told. Hopefully, we're able to realize that the war drums are still beating between China and Taiwan with those possible sanctions. We got China and Russia meeting, basically discussing how they're going to dump dollars. Dollars will still be used, but then again, we can't really depend upon those things buying much just because we're reaching a point of hyper stagflation as the world contracts due to too much debt, while there's more than enough currency chasing very few goods. So we're going to have that deflationary, inflationary all the time for some time to come until something breaks. So But anyway, best thing you can do, continue to do what you can to add value. Keep your cash flow up, get your weight up, get your calories up. Make sure you get your ammo up because you may have some strangers moving into the neighborhood from other countries that mean you some harm in the future at some point. And you got to definitely be able to protect yourself. And of course, all the other things. But most importantly, give it all to God because he knows what's best, what you need, when you need it, and how you need it. So I had a request from Mr. Ed, if I'm not mistaken, about closing out with prayer, as we used to do. And I kind of got away from that just because of the time constraints and everything like that. And I still try to share the morning dose of word on the community page. So definitely check that out. If you have not, definitely join the Telegram page so you can share stuff directly. Makes it easier just to be able to go there and see what you guys are posting so I can share it in the evening. So somebody said, Frank said, get your training up. Definitely. Make sure you can do some sit-ups and some push-ups, people. You got to be in shape of some kind. You got to be able to at least run a mile at high speed if you need to get away real quick. Anyway, let's close out a little bit of prayer as always. For my people out there who associate themselves as disciples, as followers of Jesus Christ, you know, we always know there's power in prayer, and we definitely need some prayer. This nation needs to be lifted up right now and given back to its rightful owner, which is the one who's seated on the throne right now in the heavenly realm, soon to be in the millennial kingdom that will be on this very same earth at some point in the near future. Anyway, let's close it out with a little bit of prayer. If you would like to get in agreement with me, that'll be great. There's power in numbers, and so we can definitely make a difference just by simply believing. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight. Thank you for your goodness, mercy, grace. Thank you for your word, which is a light to our path. Father, I pray that you be with, bless, and just continue to show yourself, reveal yourself to your children, Father. We ask that you would move mightily in the works and the lives of every single person tuned in right now, that they will be encouraged in their spirits as well as excited to get out and preach the good news of your kingdom in the way that you instructed us to do, Father. We ask for just wonders, signs, and miracles, Father, in everything we do. Bless the works of our hands. Allow us to deliver our very best tomorrow morning and every day of our lives, all in the name of Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. Thank you, Father, for giving us your Son and shedding his blood so that we can have eternal life in your presence. Amen. All right, people, that's all she wrote. Be blessed, be safe. Peace. Here's a great opportunity for you to get your weight up. Let's face it, our purchasing power and our currency has been destroyed in real time. That's why I'm excited to tell you about my partnership with Bullion Max. Bullion Max will ship gold and silver directly to your door for you to hold at your home or in your own safe. To help you get started, I worked out a special offer with them. Get Bullion Max Silver Starter Kit at employee pricing. Just go to bullionmax.com/RTD. This kit includes 5 of the most desirable silver products to invest in, including the American Silver Eagle and the Silver Australian Kangaroo. This offer is limited to 1 per household while supplies last, so get yours today and take advantage of this opportunity to get your weight up. Now, you can't just stop at getting your weight up. You also got to get your calories up because definitely a food shortage is underway between droughts, flooding, and all the climate issues being thrown our way. America's food supply is near its breaking point. That's why survival food is more important than ever. Create your own stockpile of the best-selling 4 Patriot survival food kits. It's not ordinary food. We're talking about 25-year super survival food, hand-packed right in the family-owned facility in the USA. The kits are compact, sturdy, water-resistant. They have different delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. Go to 4patriots.com/RTD to get your 3-month survival kit. You'll get their famous guarantee for an entire year after your order, plus 10 free gifts and free shipping. To take advantage of this opportunity, go to 4patriots.com/RTD to build your own stockpile today, because beyond the weight, you're going to need your calories as well. Links in the description.